and they were to follow them. In fact, he even had specific people that he had selected to build that. He said of those people that Oliab and I think his name is Belial, that they gave them special skills whereby they could make this. Well, the tabernacle was given by God, and it was specifically designed so that it would show some things about Jesus Christ. So what do the tabernacle teaches? There are some key truths, and the first one is Jesus Christ. And the first thing is that we have what we call types. I know your type. You're the type that does such and such. I know your type. You're the person that's all kind of giving and stuff. And you know what I'm saying about type? We use that word type. That thing on the cross, that snake, not on the cross, but that snake on the post, was a type of Jesus Christ. It was symbolic of the coming Jesus Christ. Joseph, the one who went into Egypt, was a symbol of Jesus Christ when you study his life. Moses was another one that was like Jesus Christ. So we have these people that came before Jesus did. So, but Jesus Christ is first and foremost in the tabernacle. The Amplified Version reads from John 1, verse 14. If you have your Bibles there, if you would turn there. Jen, would you read that? Please.
Okay, John 1.
Verse 14. Yeah.
Mine says, so the Word became human and made his home among us. He was full of unfailing love and faithfulness. And we have seen his glory, the glory of the Father's one and only Son.
Okay. Here's that same verse, but the Amplified Version. Now, the Amplified means that it stretches it out, defines some things a little bit more. And it says the Word, Christ, became flesh, human, incarnate, and tabernacled, which means fixed his tent of flesh, and lived a while among us. And we actually saw his glory. Glory is his honor, his majesty, such glory as the only begotten Son receives from the Father, full of grace. Grace meaning favor, loving kindness. And we get to see his truth. The second thing, first thing we see is Jesus, and then the second thing we see the presence and the holiness of God. When God created or had them design this thing, he had them create it specific to the directions that he gave. And then he had certain people, priests and Levites, that were the only ones that could minister in that area. And they were very critical about trying to remain holy in the presence of a holy God. So, the representation of the tabernacle, we know that during the travels of the Exodus, that when they put up the tabernacle, the glory of God came down, the Shekinah of God came down in daytime, usually was in smoke, and then at nighttime it was a big flame. When the smoke rose, they took the tabernacle down and they moved. So it was a way of leading God's people. So it represented the presence and the holiness of God. And then another major point of the tabernacle was that there was a plan of salvation through this. You see, the people, just like us, commit sin. God can't be in the presence of sin. Well, that's an interesting question, brings up an interesting question, because if God can't be in the presence of sin, then why, when they put up the tabernacle, did they put all the tents around this place so that he was living in the center of these sinful people? Well, when you see the tabernacle, it has an opening at one end, a gate. Jesus Christ said that he was the gate, that he was the door. Nobody could come to the Father unless they come through him. So there was a plan of salvation that was built into that. But only the high priest could get all the way into, because it was divided into three parts. There was the outer court, there was the inner court, excuse me, the holy place, and then there was the Holy of Holies. 3 places. And each one of those, normal people, men, could come inside the curtain. Then from that point on, only the Levites and the priests could go into the inner court, to the holy place. And then only the high priest, one time a year, could go into the Holy of Holies. Well,
Do you have a picture?
I do, somewhere. Let me pass these around. And this represents the tabernacle itself. I'm sorry, I would have had a projection up. Anyway, those 3 areas are considered to demonstrate the fact that there were 3 different dispensations or ages in God's plan. The tabernacle teaches about God's plan in these 3 different ages, because there's the outer court, the holy place, the Holy of Holies. I'm going to talk about those more. And then there are colors, the materials that were used. So if you turn back to that passage in Exodus 25, it says, "This is the contribution which you are to raise for them: gold, silver, bronze, blue, purple, and scarlet material, fine linen, goat hair, ram skins, dyed red,